Hey loves, welcome to Inner Love Messages. My name is Sarah, and if you're new here, I want to extend a warm welcome to the channel. If you're already subscribed, welcome back. Tonight, I have a no-contact message for you from your person. I'll be pulling cards from this deck to see how they're currently feeling, how they view you and the connection, and any other important messages they may have for you at this time. So let's dive in and get a clear and direct message straight from their heart. The first message that came through for me today was, I didn't have a choice. It immediately caught my attention because that phrase often carries a heavy emotional charge, like someone felt forced into something, as if they were backed into a corner with no real freedom to choose. It typically reflects the energy of someone, often within the masculine, feeling compelled to take action, especially when it comes to matters involving the divine feminine. But as I sat with the energy more deeply, it started to feel like this wasn't really about them. It's about you. It's speaking to the way you're currently experiencing your situation, your connection, and maybe the decisions you've had to face in your relationship. If you're being really honest with yourself, you might be feeling unsettled about how things are playing out between you and your person. There may be lingering questions in your heart about where the relationship actually stands, whether things could have gone differently, or maybe a quiet frustration over how everything has unfolded. When you step back and look at it from a deeper perspective, it feels like a part of you is carrying the belief that things ended up this way because of the choices they made. That doesn't mean you're blaming them entirely, but you can't ignore the sense that their decisions had a significant influence on where things are now. There's definitely a strong wave of masculine energy moving through this reading, and it feels like their actions, whether intentional or not, have shaped your experience of the connection. It's possible they made some major choices on their own. Maybe they initiated the silence, created space between you, or took some path that pulled them away from the connection without really involving you in that decision. From what I'm feeling, these weren't mutual choices. They did what they felt they needed to do, likely based on their own inner struggles or fears, but in doing so, they left you with more questions than answers. And it's that absence, the lack of real communication or a sudden change in behavior without any discussion, that leaves you feeling like you were left out of the equation, like your feelings didn't factor into the decisions that were made. That kind of exclusion can feel incredibly disorienting. You might find yourself feeling cut off, wondering where you fit into it all now. It's hard not to question their commitment, their intentions, or what the relationship truly means to them when everything feels so one-sided. When one person makes a major decision without the other's involvement, especially in a connection that feels this important, it throws things off balance. It creates this emotional limbo where you're left trying to navigate something that was never mutually agreed upon, and that lack of clarity can be incredibly painful. It can make you feel powerless, especially when it comes to something as intimate and vulnerable as your emotional bond with someone else. This moment you're in right now, it matters. It's asking you to really reflect on your relationship, on where you stand in it, and what you need in order to move forward. It's about looking within and asking yourself some hard but necessary questions. Do you feel like you have a voice in this connection? Do you feel seen, heard, valued? Or have you given away parts of your own power, maybe in the name of love or harmony or not wanting to rock the boat? This isn't just about them leaving you out of decisions. It's much deeper than that. Their actions, their choices, are creating ripples that affect both of you, emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically, and beneath it all, there's this undercurrent of frustration because deep down, you can't shake the feeling that you should have been included. You were there for them, maybe in ways they never fully acknowledged. You've built something meaningful, something rooted in trust and shared experiences, and now it feels like you're being kept at arm's length from choices that also affect your heart. And that's what hurts, isn't it? That after everything, you're not part of the conversation. That they've gone silent or changed course, and now you're just left holding the weight of everything that was once shared. It's heavy, it's confusing, and it can feel incredibly lonely. But this space you're in, it's also sacred, because it's inviting you to come back to yourself. To ask yourself what you want, what you deserve, and whether you've been honoring your own needs in the relationship. It's giving you the chance to take your power back, not in a harsh or confrontational way, but in a gentle reclaiming of your voice, your truth, your emotional sovereignty. You're not powerless here. Even if it feels like decisions were made without you, you still get to decide how you move forward. You get to decide what your heart needs, how you want to be loved, and whether this dynamic is still aligned with who you're becoming. You're allowed to feel the hurt. You're allowed to want answers. And you're allowed to protect your peace while you figure it all out. Whatever they were going through, whatever pushed them to act alone, it's not yours to carry, but your feelings, your pain, your confusion, your longing for clarity, those are real, and they deserve your care and compassion. So take a breath, ground yourself, and remind yourself that you still have a choice, even if it didn't feel like it before. You always have the power to choose how you show up for yourself, and that's something no one can take away from you. Lately, it might feel like everything is moving around you, yet you're standing on the sidelines, barely involved. Things seem to be decided without your knowledge, as if key pieces of information only reach you once the choices have already been made. It's almost like being kept in the dark, and that sense of exclusion can be really unsettling, especially when it comes from someone who used to be more open, more communicative. Their silence now says more than words ever could. It's like trying to solve a puzzle when half the pieces are missing, and naturally, your mind starts to wander. Why the sudden distance? What changed? Their quiet absence and lack of honesty might be leaving you unsure about where you stand, not just with them, but within the relationship itself. And here's the tough truth. What's happening now isn't the result of a shared, mutual choice. This shift, this silence, it's coming from their end, something they've chosen on their own. That can sting deeply. What hurts isn't just the silence, it's the realization that decisions are being made without you when, in the past, you were always part of the process. Now you're left with questions and a lingering feeling that maybe, just maybe, things could have been different if your voice had been part of the conversation. It's painful when you're not just excluded, but powerless to change the course of something that affects your heart so deeply. Then came a message that feels heavy with emotion. I don't know who I am anymore. Those words carry a kind of desperation, a vulnerability that hints at someone who's going through a profound internal shift. The energy connected to this feels like it's rooted in the solar plexus, the center tied to identity, confidence, and personal power. It's closely linked to masculine energy, and right now it's in flux. This person is clearly struggling with their sense of self, questioning everything they thought they knew about who they are and what their place is in the world. When that inner foundation begins to crack, everything starts to feel uncertain. This person may have once felt sure about their direction and their role in life, but now they're standing in unfamiliar territory, unsure of what's real and what's just an illusion they once held onto. The solar plexus can become unbalanced during emotional upheaval, and that's exactly what seems to be happening. The changes in their life are coming on so fast and so deeply that they're left reeling, trying to hold on to something stable while everything shifts around and within them. On the outside, they may seem like they're doing just fine. You might see them smiling, going about their daily life, almost as if nothing's wrong. But inside, something is definitely stirring. They're navigating a personal transformation they didn't plan for. It's jarring, unsettling, and it's touching every part of how they see themselves and relate to the world. And while they might not be physically distant from you, emotionally, it could feel like they're slipping away. That change, that subtle shift in energy, is something you can feel even if they're not speaking it out loud. Before going further, there's something I want to say from the heart. If you find value in this message and the energy behind it resonates with you, consider leaving a super thanks as a small gesture of appreciation. It really does make a difference and supports the energy exchange in a meaningful way. At the heart of all this is someone coming to terms with the fact that they no longer recognize themselves. It's a painful realization, and one that doesn't come easily. They're caught between the person they used to be and the person they're becoming. That in-between space is uncomfortable and filled with self-doubt, but it also opens the door to growth if they're willing to walk through it. And while their withdrawal may be hurting you, it's important to remember that this isn't about pushing you away to cause harm. This is their own internal struggle, and while it might feel personal, it's something they need to go through to evolve. You may have already sensed this shift. Something in the air between you two feels different, like the rhythm of your connection has changed. They're not showing up in quite the same way, and even though they may not say it outright, their energy speaks volumes. It's like they're turning inward, processing something quietly, privately. Their gaze may still be on you, especially if you carry divine feminine energy, but it's more introspective now, almost as if you're triggering a deep self-reflection within them. There used to be a familiar flow to your connection, a way you interacted that felt natural and easy, but now something's changed. They're behaving differently around you, and it's not your imagination. You're feeling it because it's real. Your presence in their life seems to be spotlighting something within them that they can't ignore. It's like they've placed a mirror in front of themselves, and you're the reflection that's stirring something deep, something that challenges who they thought they were. The word that keeps coming to mind is reflection, and that's no coincidence. This whole shift is rooted in how they see themselves, not just in relation to you, but in a broader sense too. Maybe for a long time they clung to a version of themselves that felt safe or fed their ego, but your presence, your energy, is shaking that image loose. They may not fully understand why, but they feel it. And because of that, the way they engage with you is shifting too. It's not just behavioral, it's foundational. This is someone going through a transformation that's changing not only how they relate to others, but how they relate to themselves. All of this might be preparing you for a new dynamic between the two of you, or maybe it's simply validating something you've already been sensing. You might have noticed small changes in the way they speak to you, look at you, or even the silences between conversations. It all ties back to something deeper that's happening inside of them. Your presence is pushing them to reflect, to reassess, to confront parts of themselves they hadn't looked at in a long time, or maybe ever. And that's powerful. Your energy is acting like a catalyst for their transformation, whether they're aware of it or not. And there's one more message that keeps echoing through this energy, one you might need to hear right now. I wish I had found you sooner. Divine Feminine, you have a presence that impacts people on a soul-deep level. Even if they don't say it, even if they try to hide it, your energy is unforgettable. Many people assume you already know the effect you have on them, but the truth is, they rarely express it. You challenge without trying. You awaken things in others they didn't even know were asleep. Especially for those in masculine energy, your presence sparks a mirror-like effect, inviting them to reevaluate their beliefs, actions, and very identity. It's not something you set out to do, it's just who you are. You carry a frequency that changes everything it touches, and while that may be difficult for others to face, especially when they're not ready, it's also something they'll never forget. So if you're feeling the distance right now, if you're wondering why everything seems to be shifting, know this. Your energy is doing what it naturally does. It's waking someone up, and even though that awakening may be messy and filled with uncertainty, it's also deeply necessary. Whatever happens next, trust that you've already made an impact that goes far beyond what words could ever say. This message is meant for a feminine energy whose very presence has the power to stir something deep within even the most grounded or seemingly unshakable masculine energy. There's something about you, your essence, your energy, your natural way of being, that creates waves of change, simply because you exist as you are. You may not even fully see the magnitude of your impact, but when you enter a space, everything subtly shifts. It's not about commanding attention or seeking it, it's more about how your presence shifts the atmosphere in a way that's almost indescribable. People are drawn to you not because you're trying to be noticed, but because your energy has an undeniable pull, like gravity. This effect is especially strong when it comes to masculine energy. Masculine energy tends to focus on the tangible, the immediate, the things they can see and touch, but when you're around, that focus is disrupted in a good way. You draw their attention inward, encouraging them to reflect more deeply, to consider things they may have previously overlooked or avoided altogether. Your presence nudges them into inner exploration, into facing parts of themselves that have long remained hidden. Whether you're aware of it or not, you're acting as a mirror for them, showing them layers of themselves they've never fully acknowledged before. And right now, this is exactly what's happening with your masculine counterpart. They're going through significant internal changes, shifts that may be difficult for them to explain, even to themselves. But these changes are being set into motion because of your connection. You didn't have to push, persuade, or explain anything. Just being who you are has ignited something powerful within them. It's transformative, it's subtle, yet undeniable, and it's reshaping not only their inner world, but also the future of your connection with them. You're not just playing a background role in their story, you are the spark that's setting their transformation into motion. Even if they haven't found the words to say it out loud, they feel it. Something in them knows that this connection is forcing them to face truths they've long avoided. It's intense, yes, but it's also leading somewhere important. Where you two are heading is a place of deeper understanding, mutual growth, and emotional evolution. What's happening now might feel confusing or heavy at times, but it's all part of something bigger, something with real meaning and purpose. Your masculine might be holding on to the idea that all of this transformation they're going through would have happened with or without your presence. They may think the timing of your meeting was random, that their growth was inevitable, and that while your connection may have triggered it, it wasn't the reason behind it. But that belief misses the truth. This journey they're on, the changes they're experiencing, was always meant to unfold with you in the picture. The connection between you two isn't a coincidence, it's a key part of the story. This was always meant to happen the way it is happening. The timing of your meeting wasn't an accident. The energy between you two was destined to activate something in both of you. This is a connection that was written into your path, part of a larger design that goes beyond what either of you can see right now. It's not something that could have been delayed or redirected. It was always meant to happen like this in this moment. I keep hearing the word trigger. That last time you were near them, something deep inside them was stirred. Something in that moment, that exchange, caused a ripple effect in their emotional world. They might even feel like if they'd met you at a different time, maybe things wouldn't have shifted so dramatically for them. But that's just an illusion. The truth is, the shift was always going to happen. Because of you, not in spite of you. This transformation is tied directly to your connection, and whether they're fully aware of it or not, they are being guided through these changes by your presence. They can't avoid this process, even if they want to. They may try to protect themselves, keep their heart guarded, or pretend they're in control, but the truth is, this bond is deeply embedded in their journey. The shifts they're going through are not random. They are happening because you showed up in their life, and they're meant to walk this part of their path with you, whether they fully accept that yet or not. There's also a strong message coming through about timing. The connection you share is filled with cycles, synchronicities, and divine timing. Even when things don't seem to make sense on the surface, there's something bigger unfolding behind the scenes. Everything that's happening in their life right now is part of a larger rhythm, a sacred unfolding. The inner growth they're experiencing was set into motion long ago, but your presence activated it in real time. The moment your energies met, something clicked into place. And now, you're both walking a path that's tied together in powerful ways. Another message is starting to come through clearly. I was trying to help you. If you've ever felt hurt or confused by the distance your masculine has created, this could be the reason. From their perspective, stepping back or holding certain parts of themselves back might have felt like the best way to protect you. In their mind, maybe they thought they were sparing you from something difficult, something about them, their life, or their emotional world that they believed you shouldn't have to carry. Even though their actions may have felt like rejection, in their heart, they may have seen it as a form of care. Misguided perhaps, but sincere in intention. They may be trying to shield you from truths they're not ready to fully face themselves. Maybe it's a situation they feel ashamed of, or emotional weight they don't believe you should have to bear. They could be afraid that revealing these parts of themselves would overwhelm you or cause you to pull away. What they might not understand is that by trying to protect you, they're also creating distance that could be preventing healing and deeper connection. In trying to do what they think is right, they may be unintentionally holding you both back from something beautiful. There's a tender vulnerability in all of this. From the very beginning, they've cared about how you see them. Your opinion of them matters more than they'd ever admit. It's not just about impressing you, it's about earning your trust, your respect, your belief in them. They want to be seen in a certain light, and that desire has shaped many of their choices. It may even explain why they sometimes act distant or why they don't share everything. They could be trying to hide their messiness, their struggles, or their doubts, not because they don't want you in their life, but because they don't want you to see them as weak or incapable. This need to prove themselves might come from past wounds, from patterns they've carried for years. Maybe in the past, they were made to feel not good enough, or maybe they've always felt like they needed to perform to be worthy of love. And so now, with you, they might be doing the same thing, trying to win your approval without realizing that you don't need perfection from them. You just need honesty, presence, vulnerability. At the heart of all this is a deep soul bond, one that's calling both of you to grow, to reflect, and to transform, not just for yourselves, but for the connection you're building together. It's not always going to be easy. There will be moments of distance, misunderstanding, and fear. But there's also immense potential for healing, intimacy, and profound unity. The changes your masculine is going through are real, they're raw, and they're happening because of your presence. You are a catalyst, not because you've tried to be, but because your energy simply is. And as they walk through their own internal transformation, know that your role is far from passive. You're helping them awaken to themselves. And as they continue to evolve, so too will the connection you share, deepening, expanding, and becoming something even more aligned with who you both are meant to become. Before anything else, please take a moment to really hear this. If you feel drawn to become a part of our little, warm-hearted family, consider subscribing by clicking that join button. It means a lot and helps us stay connected in this space. Now, let's talk about someone whose presence in your life feels unpredictable, close one moment and distant the next. They don't come and go without reason. Even when it's hard to understand, there's always a sense of purpose behind their actions. They tend to show up when they feel whole, when they believe they can bring something valuable to the table, whether it's their energy, love, attention, or simply their presence. But when they feel empty, uncertain, or emotionally unbalanced, they pull away, not because they want to hurt you, but because they don't want to give you less than their best. They step back when they feel like they're not able to match the kind of energy they believe you deserve. Underneath that retreat is often something deeper. They're carrying a weight that they haven't shared with you, not because they want to keep secrets, and definitely not because they don't care, but because they genuinely want to protect you from the heaviness they're wrestling with. It's a private battle they're trying to handle on their own. In their eyes, letting you in might mean making you worry or change the way you see them, and the last thing they want is for their struggles to become a burden on your heart. So instead, they pull inward, hoping that silence or distance will shield you from the mess they're trying to sort through. It's not rejection, it's a form of love, a misguided kind maybe, but still love. But energy is hard to hide. Even when they think they're masking what's going on, you can feel it. There's a shift. Something unspoken lingers in the air between you. You start to notice their hesitation, their lack of presence, the fog that slowly creeps in. It's not always easy to name, but it's there. You sense the emotional walls going up, and even though they aren't saying anything directly, their behavior speaks volumes. It's confusing. You may start to question yourself, wonder what changed, but deep down, you can feel they're caught in something personal, something they're not ready to share. In their perfect world, they'd find the words to tell you that their distance isn't a reflection of how they feel about you. It's not about losing interest. It's about needing space to find clarity, to work through something heavy without affecting the connection you share. They may feel like they have to face this alone in order to show up for you more authentically later on. There's this sense that if they allowed you too close while they're in the thick of it, they'd end up doing more harm than good. So they choose solitude, hoping it's the kindest option, even if it doesn't feel that way to you. Even with all their good intentions, their silence leaves echoes. Their absence creates confusion, and it can feel like you're being left in the dark. There's this tug of war between their desire to stay close and their need to retreat. It's not about inconsistency for the sake of drama. It's an emotional storm inside them that they haven't learned how to navigate while holding someone else's hand. And even though they may be trying to protect you, the ripple effect is real. You feel it. The energy between you shifts, and nothing feels quite the same. It's easy to assume they're becoming cold or disconnected. But this isn't about apathy or carelessness. Something significant is unfolding inside them. They're not running from you. They're trying to run toward clarity, but the path is winding and unfamiliar. They're sorting through not only their emotions, but what this connection means to them, how it's evolving, and what role they want it to play in their life moving forward. They're in a space where they need to figure out if they're ready to meet this connection with the depth and devotion it deserves. And that kind of reflection doesn't happen in the presence of noise. It needs quiet, space, and time. There's also something they're not saying yet, something unspoken lingering just beneath the surface. It feels like they're holding back a truth, a realization that could shift the entire course of your relationship. They know it needs to be shared eventually, but they're not sure how to do it without causing waves. Maybe they're afraid of how you'll take it, or maybe they're still trying to make sense of it themselves. Whatever it is, it's big, and they're trying to figure out how to bring it forward without breaking the fragile balance that still exists between you. This isn't just about fear or confusion. There's a very real change happening in how they see you, and it's profound. The way they felt about you when you first met is no longer the same. What may have started as attraction or even infatuation has deepened into something that holds more weight. You've become more than just someone they enjoy being around. You've become a reflection, a mirror, a force that's showing them who they are and what they're capable of feeling. That realization is both beautiful and terrifying. It's shaking up everything they thought they knew about love, connection, and themselves. Your presence has caused a shift in them, one that they weren't expecting. they've been transformed by your energy, and now they're trying to make sense of it. It's not just about how you look or how you make them feel in the moment. It's something bigger. You've made them question what they want in life and what kind of person they want to be in love. You've touched a place in them that makes them want to grow, to do better, to become more aligned with their higher self. That kind of transformation isn't easy, and it doesn't happen without resistance. So if they seem distant, it's because they're doing the hard, inner work of becoming the version of themselves that this connection demands. There's no doubt about it. You've had a powerful impact on this masculine energy, especially on a physical and energetic level. The attraction was undeniable from the start. Your energy, especially around the solar plexus, the space of personal power, confidence, and self-worth, lit something up inside them. Being around you made them feel seen, important, even validated. You became someone they wanted to show off, not out of arrogance, but because being connected to you made them feel proud. You represented a kind of ideal, and having that reflected back at them gave them a sense of empowerment they hadn't felt before. But connections like this, especially ones with a twin flame or soul-deep resonance, don't stay in the realm of the physical for long. What starts as chemistry quickly evolves into something much more intense and transformational. That's where the confusion can creep in. They may have thought this was just attraction or a fleeting infatuation, but the more they engage with your energy, the more they realize that this is something else entirely. It's not just about lust, it's about awakening, and awakenings aren't easy. You, as the divine feminine, are at the heart of that awakening. You're the reason they're beginning to question everything. Your presence is the catalyst that's pulling them out of old patterns and asking them to rise. It's why they've made decisions without telling you, why they've pulled away without explaining.
They assume you can feel it, that you somehow understand the impact you're having on them without them needing to say it out loud. And yet, if they were brave enough to be honest, they'd tell you that you've completely changed the way they see everything, including themselves. They came into this connection thinking it would unfold like any other, but the moment you entered their world, they knew, whether consciously or not, that this was different. You weren't just another experience, you were a turning point, and that realization has sent them on a journey that's both painful and beautiful. They're being asked to rise into a new version of themselves, one that aligns with the higher love you represent. That kind of growth takes time, and it doesn't always look pretty. It comes with distance, silence, confusion, and moments of retreat. Still, through it all, know this. Their distance isn't rejection. Their silence isn't indifference. Their hesitation isn't lack of care. It's all a part of the transformation they're undergoing. Your love, your energy, your very presence has set that transformation in motion, and though they may not have the words or clarity just yet, deep down they know they're standing at a crossroads, and the connection you've shared is the reason why. They feel the shift. They know something's changing, and they're trying their best to navigate it in the only way they know how. Even if they jokingly blame you for all these shifts, maybe with a sarcastic smile or a playful tone, they know the truth. You've changed them, deeply and permanently. You've shown them what it means to love and be loved in a way that transforms, and that's not something they'll ever forget. Your presence has stirred something deep within them, triggering a journey of introspection they didn't see coming. It's made them question who they truly are and what they genuinely want from life. This connection you share isn't something they can neatly explain or label. It goes far beyond physical attraction. There's a soul-deep resonance here, something profound and intangible that continues to pull at them. What started as a moment has evolved into something life-altering. It's not just a fleeting experience for them, it's one that has shifted them in ways no one else ever has. This bond reaches into the core of who they are, awakening something that's been dormant, and now they're slowly beginning to understand just how much this connection has shaped them. For the masculine, this transformation hasn't come all at once. It's been gradual, a slow awakening that's unfolded in layers. You didn't crash into their life like a storm. You entered gently, igniting a spark that kept growing with time. Each interaction, each emotion, each realization has added another brushstroke to the picture they're now beginning to see more clearly. This experience has been a step-by-step journey toward self-awareness. Though the pace has been slow, the depth of what they're feeling is undeniable. Their world has shifted. Their perception of love, connection, and even their own identity has been altered, and they can no longer pretend otherwise. And through it all, the message that continues to echo from their soul is simple: I don't regret anything, and I keep getting challenged. This connection has not always been smooth.
There have been trials, growing pains, moments of silence, and times where neither of you could fully see where things were headed. But in spite of all that, they wouldn't take any of it back. Even if loving you hasn't been the easiest road, even if understanding your energy took more effort than they expected, they still wouldn't change a thing. This isn't just something they're saying, it's something they've come to know with certainty. You may have doubted where you stood or wondered if you were too much, too complex, or too hard to love, but they've come to see that the challenge was never a burden. It was a gift, a powerful one. Your energy awakened something sacred in them, especially in their solar plexus, the very seat of their will and personal power. Around you, they feel more alive than they ever have. Something about you sparked a fire they didn't know they were missing. No matter who they were with before, no matter what kind of love they thought they'd experienced, none of it compares to what they've felt with you. The time you've spent together has left an imprint on their soul. They've begun to see themselves through a new lens because of you, and for that, they're endlessly grateful. What you share isn't some temporary spark or romantic detour. It's a force that's been reshaping their entire inner world. You've shown them what divine feminine energy really is: mysterious, strong, radiant, transformative, and they are finally beginning to grasp just how much power you hold. They're starting to understand the kind of shift your presence has brought into their life, and it's unlike anything they ever expected.
Somewhere along the line, it became clear that this wasn't just another story for them. You became the unexpected twist in their narrative. Maybe in the beginning, they thought they had everything figured out. Maybe they believed they knew what this connection was and where it would go. But as time passed, things didn't unfold the way they imagined. Instead of moving forward like they expected, they started pulling back. This retreat may have felt confusing or even painful to you. It might have felt like they suddenly disappeared, like they left you behind in a haze of silence and uncertainty. But the truth is, deep inside, they never truly let you go. No matter how far they strayed or how quiet they became, the thought of coming back to you was always there. The bond never broke, even when it looked like it did. And now, they want you to know something very important. They don't regret any of it. Not the confusion, not the pauses, not the moments when things felt off balance. If you've ever found yourself wondering whether you gave too much, loved too hard, or carried too much of the emotional weight, the answer is no. What you brought to this connection was necessary. It may have felt one-sided at times, but under the surface, your presence was stirring something monumental within them. Your energy pushed them into spaces they hadn't explored. Places inside themselves where their old fears, outdated beliefs, and emotional wounds lived. You challenged their comfort zones. You brought to light everything they needed to face, even when they weren't ready. And because of that, they've had to rethink not just this relationship, but their whole life. They're beginning to shed the parts of themselves in their world that no longer serve them, and you were the catalyst for that transformation. Even with all the chaos and uncertainty, they now see that every single moment had meaning. Every twist and turn, every painful stretch was part of a greater unfolding. They've come to terms with their choices, and though it hasn't been easy, they understand now that none of it was a mistake. You were never too much. You were exactly what their soul needed, even if their mind didn't catch up at first. Right now, as you try to make sense of where things stand, know that this person is going through something profound. What may have started as surface-level attraction or curiosity has grown into something they can't ignore. They're falling in love, not just with you, but with the person they're becoming because of you. There's a version of themselves that only exists because you walked into their life, and they're starting to fall in love with that version too. That growth, that self-discovery, is something they're not ready to let go of. They want to keep exploring it, to see where this new path leads. Behind the scenes, they're sorting through a lot. It's like they're standing at the edge of something new, waiting for the clarity they need before stepping forward again. And while it may feel like they're holding back or avoiding the connection, that's not the full story. There's a quiet evolution happening in their heart, one that's slowly guiding them back towards you. And the truth is, you've probably already sensed it. Maybe you didn't have all the answers, but something inside you knew that this journey wasn't over. Your intuition has been whispering to you all along, showing you signs, nudging you to trust the process. You've felt the shifts even before they could put them into words. This isn't just about waiting for someone to return, it's about recognizing that what's happening between you is part of something much larger. The connection is growing, transforming, becoming something more than either of you expected. When they do come back, they'll do so with a deeper understanding of who they are and what they want, not just from you, but from themselves. And that, in the end, is what makes this connection so rare. It's not just about love. It's about awakening, and it's already begun. It feels like you've arrived at a pivotal point in your journey, one where your heart is genuinely open and ready to understand the perspective of your masculine energy. There's a quiet longing to hear what hasn't been said, to understand the thoughts and emotions they've kept tucked away. For quite some time, there may have been very little communication, and this silence has likely left you with unanswered questions, making the space between you feel more noticeable. Yet recently, you've begun to sense that something important is stirring beneath the surface, something they haven't expressed yet, something that could close the gap and bring you both into deeper connection. Whether you're aware of it or not, powerful shifts are unfolding in the energy between you. The dynamics are changing, evolving, and this transformation is setting the stage for a new level of openness. Soon, you may find this person reaching out, not just to speak, but to reveal how deeply this whole experience has affected them. It's not that they've been passively waiting, but rather, they've been attuned to the energy between you, waiting for it to clear and settle. They know there are things that need resolution before they can truly open up. And although the desire to reach out may already be stirring within them, they're also being very intentional. They don't want to bring confusion or frustration into the space between you. They're waiting until they can communicate from a grounded place of clarity and truth. It's almost like a delicate dance where timing is everything. They're tuning into the rhythm, waiting for the right moment to take that next step. And in the meantime, it's important for you to remain open and receptive. Sometimes what we experience as emotional distance isn't rejection or avoidance. It's the quiet pause that allows both of you to reflect, to heal, and to come into a more authentic place within yourselves before reconnecting. There's no need to rush this unfolding. Give it space. Trust the process. When the time is right, when they feel ready, they will open up, and what they share may surprise you. It might not be what you expected, but it could be even more meaningful. It could carry a depth, a vulnerability, and a raw truth that touches your heart in ways you hadn't imagined. Waiting can be difficult, especially when your intuition is already sensing that something is shifting behind the scenes. But trust that movement is happening even if you can't see it yet. This chapter isn't just about silence or separation, it's about growth. Both of you are moving through your own transformations, growing not only as individuals but also in the connection you share. When the energy finally clears and the moment to reconnect arrives, it won't feel the same as before. It will feel more aligned, more deeply rooted in understanding and mutual respect. And before we wrap up, I just want to share a little reminder. If you're resonating with this message and finding something valuable in it, please consider supporting our channel with a super thanks. It really does make a difference and helps us continue bringing you more content that uplifts and inspires. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay connected with new updates. Your presence and support mean the world to us, and we're truly grateful to have you here.